Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to another episode of Rockin with the Brocklin. It's been a while. I'm fully aware of that. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing a regular episode as we're now in the NBA playoffs. But regardless, I wanted to put something out. I found myself with a little bit of free time. It's been busy lately, so give me a break. But just hanging in there, getting everything I need to finish done. But you better believe I've been watching the NBA playoffs. They've been a lot of fun so far. I'm going to do just a quick round one recap. We're going to talk about every round that went down. Excuse me. And then also look to the second round, which has already started as of recording of this video. But yeah, and then I'll show you a little bit of highlights from the first round. One low light and two highlights, I'll say. But all right. First off, oh, I don't even think that's doing what I want to do. Anyway, I don't have to zoom into it. But down here in the corner, Magic Celtics. What can you say? The Magic are a young team, and they've had injury problems all season. I thought they really gave the Celtics, I don't want to say a run for their money, but they looked good at times. Their defense was really good. A lot of these games were pretty close. Paolo Banchero, I think he's in his third or fourth season from the Magic, former number one overall pick. Yeah, he's great. This is not necessarily new if you've been watching the NBA, but he was great in the playoffs last year against the Cavs. They lost, and then this season against the Celtics. Yeah, he's legit. But the Celtics, I mean, they're the defending champions. Jason Tatum has been great in the playoffs so far. They even have had a couple guys out. Jason Tatum actually missed, I think, a game and some change. But he was great, and they even looked great without him. But when he was playing, you could tell he's the best player on the court. So they moved on. Next series, we got Knicks Pistons. This was probably my second most anticipated series, only behind the Nuggets, and we'll get to them later. But yeah, the Pistons, I thought they had a really good chance of pulling off an upset. The Knicks are just the more experienced, the more talented team. And I think that made the difference in the end. But man, was this a good series. A lot of close games, a lot of iconic moments. Jalen Brunson was able to seal the series, I think, with like 3 or 4 seconds left in game six. Really fun. Can't wait to see where the Pistons are next season. Because the season before they'd only won 14 games, and then they won, I think, like 47 or 48. But yeah, great season from them. They'll be back. Knicks are moving on. Pacers Bucks. Unfortunately, the Bucks are just a little too injured, and at this point, kind of aging. I thought the Pacers were gonna win, but I thought it would be a lot closer. They won 4-1. Giannis has no help, to put it plainly. He's a great. I mean, obviously, he's one of the greatest players in the league. Two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. The only thing that he can't do is basically shoot. He's a horrible jump shooter. If he had a jump shot, he'd be the best player of all time. But a lot of speculation about whether he's going to ask for a trade or leave after this season. Not sure yet. I just hope for the healthiness of the league he stays in the Eastern Conference, because if he goes to the West, we're going to be looking at even more disparity than what we have now. The West being the significantly stronger conference. But yeah, the Pacers, they looked great. Tyrese Halliburton, ever since he was awarded the most overrated player in the league, he's been great. I think he took that to heart a little bit. And, I definitely think the Pacers and Bucks kind of have a little bit of a rivalry now, with the Pacers coming out on top the last couple seasons. So, if you're the Bucks, once again, I'm not sure if they're going to try and trade Giannis or rebuild or what. They have a lot of decisions to make this offseason. Damian Lillard having a blood clot and then coming back and tearing his Achilles is just horrible. But Unfortunately, it's the league we got. So next series, Cavaliers Heat. There's nothing to say. The Heat were the 10 seed. They won 2 play-in games to get here, but they got smoked, just blown out of the water. The first 2 games were kind of close. The second were not. The second series of games, that being third and fourth. The third game, I think they lost by 37. In the second game, they lost by 55. That's embarrassing, man. From a Spoelstra coach team, you cannot lose by 55 at home in an elimination game. That's just nasty work. Anyway, moving on to the West. We got Thunder and Grizzlies. Pretty similar to the Cavs Heat series. The Grizzlies are they're not there. They had a really good season, and then the final 2 months were kind of a nightmare for them. They fired their coach, but they got blown out of the water the first 2 games and then made it somewhat competitive in the next 2. The only problem, though, is that Ja Morant did end up hurting his hip, which I think kind of hindered them in the end, because they were up by, I think, 28 or 29 points in Game 3 before he went down with his injury, and they choked that game. And then the Game 4 was very close, but they ended up losing by, I think, 2 or 3 points. Unfortunate season for the Grizzlies. What is there to say about the Thunder? Based off of this season alone, they should be the championship favorites. And they certainly played like it in the first series with a clean sweep. Next series, Nuggets Clippers. This was easily the best series of the playoffs so far. Just a brutal 7-game series, and I'll show you a couple clips later, but just unbelievable heroics coming from players you would not expect. Buzzer beaters, overtime, including a 33-point blowout. I mean, if you're a fan of basketball and you don't like this series, then you should probably find another hobby, because this was just objectively awesome. And then the Game 7, the Nuggets put it to him. Oh my gosh. I was starting to get a little bit of PTSD from last year's Game 7 against the Wolves, which, if you know me, I have not talked about very much on this YouTube channel. But because we were up by 20 in the third quarter. But man, this was just, I feel like the Clippers did not know that it was a Game 7. Like, the only one who knew was Kawhi Leonard. Classic James Harden meltdown. He had 7 points, 5 rebounds, and 13 assists, but he shot 2 of 8. No, they didn't pressure the Nuggets at all outside the first half. The first half was pretty competitive, but no energy from the Clippers. No will. I mean, the Nuggets came out and they looked desperate. And the funny thing, too, is that Murray and Jokic did not play well in this game, in my opinion. They played decently. Jokic had, I think he had like 16, 10, and 8. He did not shoot the ball very well, though. But the story of this game was easily Aaron Gordon, Russell Westbrook, and Christian Brown. Wow. They looked desperate. They looked like their lives were on the line if they lost this game, and they played like it too. So we'll go into that a little bit more. Next series, Lakers Timberwolves. Listen, the Lakers are frauds, and I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, but if you watch the NBA and you were shocked that the Timberwolves beat the Lakers, then you don't really watch the NBA, I think. Now, I will say it was very surprising that they beat them in 5, because that's kind of just domination. Like, that's a gentleman's sweep. But the Timberwolves winning in general should not be that surprising. The Timberwolves are a good team, and they have been all year. I actually think they're going to beat the Warriors in the next series. But Anthony Edwards played really well in this series, except for, ironically, the closeout game. That's where, out of complete nowhere, Rudy Gobert dropped 27 points, 24 rebounds. Just insane. But yeah, the lack of depth really hurt the Lakers. They also did not have a center. They tried playing Jackson Hayes, and he was just getting dominated by Gobert, specifically in Game 5. They also, the Lakers' defense is atrocious. It really is. Luka Doncic is a horrible defender. Austin Reeves is a horrible defender. And LeBron James, being 40 years old, is a really bad defender. And when you combine these three, like these are their three best players, that might be the worst defensive best three lineup in the league, if you get what I mean. Like, you take your top three players and measure their defense. And they got exposed by a Timberwolves team who has been pretty good the second half of the season. Believe me, I'm a Nuggets fan. We lost to them 4 times this season. But, just classic Lakers meltdown. I mean, this is nothing new. They've really, like, the last 3 years, they've just got punked out of the playoffs every year. Swept by Denver in 23. Gentlemen swept by Denver in 24. Gentlemen swept by the Wolves this year. I mean, I don't really know where the Lakers are going to go. I mean, obviously, I think LeBron's going to stick around at least another year, maybe a couple two. We seem to say that every year, and people are saying, oh, he's going to retire. I don't know with this guy anymore. I'm just assuming that he's going to play until I see the ESPN headline that says LeBron James retires. But, yeah, good for the Timberwolves. I really hate them. I really do, but good for them. Last series of the first round, Rockets Warriors. This was a classic good young team on the cusp versus old veteran team with experience. It went to 7, the Rockets being the 2 seed. I don't really think people had expectations for the Rockets to win this series. I personally picked the Warriors. But they have nothing to be ashamed of. They really played their hearts out. I think last night's game 1 and game 7 were kind of rough, but they showed amazing resilience from a very young team to not give up. They were down 3-1 in the series. Coming back to Houston, they won game 5, went back to Golden State, and they won game 6 commandingly. I just think the lack of experience and the nerves set in a little bit in Game 7 because they had no offense. Anytime they ran the half court, it was completely shut down by the Warriors. The Warriors have an excellent defensive scheme, and on top of it, the Rockets cannot shoot. So that's just a mix for scoring less than 90 points at home in Game 7, So, good for the Warriors. I think most people expected them to win this series. They're not winning the next series, though. I think the Timberwolves are going to kind of wreck them. But, yeah, really good series. The second series to go to 7. I mean, I have a bias, of course, but I thought the Nuggets-Clippers series was better. It had more iconic moments, in my opinion, too. And also, shout out to Buddy Hield on the Warriors, who drew heavy criticism this season. And he showed up and balled out in Game 7. I think he shot like 12 of 15, and he hit 9 threes for 33 points. Buddy Hield. Yes, that Buddy Hield with the big smile. I'll put a picture of it when I'm editing. But, yeah, just solid stuff from the Warriors. Draymond Green came out shooting threes as well, which was unexpected. Steph Curry really didn't even do anything until the fourth quarter, but he was still pretty good too. All right, moving on. We got the second round. I'm just going to talk about this. Don't really want to go into what's going to happen after this. I'll start with the series that has already started, that being Cavaliers-Pacers. So Darius Garland was actually out for Game 1, which was yesterday. Today is Monday the 5th. Happy Revenge of the 5th. And the Pacers shot incredibly well from 3, and the Cavaliers shot incredibly poor from 3. And the Pacers only ended up winning by 9. On top of Cleveland's defense just being atrocious, they didn't close out on any threes. Their transition defense was poor. Um, Donovan Mitchell, I this is kind of a weird thing to say. I thought he played pretty good, but he also kind of shot them out of the game. Um, the problem that I had with the Cavs yesterday, and some people noticed, is that they took 90 shots, and two of their players took 50 of those shots. And if you've been watching the Cavs the last couple seasons, which, I have sparingly, but they are a pretty team oriented organization. They like to get everybody involved. And I just think the lack of Darius Garland being there, Donovan Mitchell, like, let's not pretend he doesn't do this. He goes into hero mode sometimes, and sometimes it works, and he looks like one of the best players on the court. And then other nights he shoots 30 shots. He only had 33 points despite 30 shots, and he shot 1 of 11 from 3. That really killed them. Definitely not the only reason they lost though. They're honestly, there's a couple questionable calls. I really wanted to see more out of Jarrett Allen. But they'll move on to game 2. I think Garland's going to be back for game 2, and I think the Cavs are. I'm picking the Cavs to win this series. I think they'll win in 6. They've just been the better team all season. No disrespect to the Pacers though, because I think a lot of people sleep on the Pacers, but they are a good team. Tyrese Halliburton is a really good player. And, they made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. I know they got swept by the Celtics, but it was, as close as a sweep can get, pretty much. Speaking of the Celtics, next matchup in round 2, we have Knicks versus Celtics. No disrespect to the Knicks, but I think they're going to get messed up. I think they're going to get walloped. The Knicks have shown no signs of beating the Celtics, or for that matter, any elite team this season. They went 0-12 against the combined teams of Celtics, Cavaliers, and Thunder. I think they have a bit of a cool rivalry, but I just think the Celtics are a nightmare matchup for the Knicks. I could be proven wrong, but I really don't think so. I think the Celtics are going to win in 5. They're a more complete team. I think Joe Mazzulla is a better coach than Tom Thibodeau. That might be a hot take depending on who you're talking to. And I think the Thibodeau thing is that, he runs his players all season. They play almost the entire game, and I think it might catch up to them this time. The Knicks, by all stretch of the imagination, in my opinion, should be the number 1 seed in the East. I think they have the most talented lineup, starting 5, that is. Because it's Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, that's an incredible starting 5, and I think they've underperformed a little bit. Now, Brunson did just go crazy against the Pistons. I'm not going to forget that. I think he's going to be great against the Celtics too. But I just trust the Celtics. Celtics in 5. Timberwolves, Warriors. I talked about this previously. I think that Anthony Edwards is too much for the Warriors to handle. Steph Curry is still that dude. He's great. Jimmy Butler is still that dude too. But I think the Timberwolves are a lot deeper and more consistent of a team. I think the Warriors, they might actually run into a similar issue that the Lakers had with Rudy Gobert. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but yes, Rudy Gobert could be an issue for the Warriors. He just had the best game of his career against the Lakers in Game 5. I also think the Timberwolves' home court is going to matter. Because don't count out guys like Josh McDaniels? Jaden McDaniels. Sorry, not Josh McDaniels. That is the former offensive coordinator of the Patriots, I think. Jaden McDaniels has been legit this playoffs. He's averaging, I think, 17 a game as a third option for the Wolves. Also, don't sleep on Dante DiVincenzo, who I think was a very underrated player in that Karl Anthony Towns trade back in the summer. The Timberwolves are a legit team. Their 6th seed is very misrepresentative. And I think they're going back to the Western Conference Finals in 6. They beat the Warriors in 6. All right. Now for potentially the scariest but also the most fun series, Nuggets Thunder. Oh boy, that starts in just a little bit, and actually when I'm recording this, they start in about 2 hours, and I'm very nervous about this series, but I'm also excited. So the Nuggets, as we discussed earlier, just got done with a bloodbath against the Clippers. The Clippers gave us everything they had minus that second half in Game 7. And the Thunder have been resting for, I think, 9 days at this point. And the Nuggets got 1 day of rest, but I think it's not fair, but it's just how it works. When your series goes to Game 7, it's just how it works. So to be honest, I think we're kind of gonna get slapped tonight because we have no rest and they've been resting for a week and a half. But two things of note. One, the Nuggets bench in particular has been pretty dang good in the playoffs so far, which, that's our biggest downfall is we don't have the depth. We're a very top-heavy team. And the second thing is that this season series actually split 2-2. We played the Thunder on opening night. We lost to them. And then they came back to Denver a couple weeks later. We beat them. Then we went to Oklahoma City on a back-to-back. We played them. We lost by 30. And then the second night of that back-to-back, we won by 13. It was crazy. I think it's going to be very difficult for us to beat them. But, as a diehard Nuggets fan, I have to say we're going to win. Like, as delusional as it might be, I still think we're going to win, but it's going to be like, it's another 7-game series, except this time we are going to have to win Game 7 on the road, which is going to be really tough. I think, honestly, we match up better against them than most teams. Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein are a really good 4 and 5 combo, but Jokic has had success against them this season. Actually, I don't know if Chet played in... I want to say he only played in 2 of the 4 matchups. I want to say, but I don't quite remember. I think he played in the 2 early ones where we split 1-1. But I think in this series, Oklahoma City has the depth advantage. But the Nuggets have, in my opinion, the star power advantage, because I think in the playoffs, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are better than Shea and whoever you would say the second best player on the Thunder is. I think it's Jalen Williams. Some people would say it's Chet Holmgren. But I think it's going to come down to that. And at this point, I trust Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic in the playoffs. These guys have been in the playoffs 7 years in a row. We've advanced to the second round 6 of those 7 years, which is really awesome. But it's going to take everything we've got to beat this team, because this is legit. This is statistically one of the greatest teams in NBA history. They are phenomenal. They are phenomenal. Excuse me. They have a lot of energy. They play great defense. They can shoot. It would not surprise me if the Thunder won the championship. As of now, I still am leaning towards the Celtics repeating. But the Thunder are super legit. They won 68 games. They didn't even play their starters for like the last couple games of the regular season, and they still won, I think, 3 out of 4. They're well coached. They're disciplined. They hit their free throws, and they have a fantastic home crowd. The Oklahoma City home crowd is great. Say what you want about their education rankings. They know how to show up for an NBA game. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to briefly go over the stats. So far in the playoffs, we got per game. So yeah, off of people that are still in the playoffs, because Giannis had a great series, but he didn't win very much. Brunson's leading all scorers, 31.5. Jokic is actually down to 24 points. That is less than I thought he had. Murray's down to 23. 3. But yeah, I mean, Jokic has been great as per usual. He didn't play very good in Game 7, but it didn't matter. Yeah, he's pretty much where you'd expect him stat-wise. Anyway, I'm just going to play a couple clips real quick. I want you to see if you can tell me what's wrong in this clip of Minnesota versus LA.
Game. Doncic a move, got the screen, the collision into DiVincenzo. Another rebound by Gobert. Conley ahead, Edwards will float and get two.
Okay, I just wanted to put this in real quick because this is unacceptable. This is how you lose playoff games, and this is a part of the reason why the Lakers lost. It is a 4-point game. There are 2.5 minutes left. Minnesota is up 3-1. They have you in the corner. Like, their sword is at your throat. How do you respond? And what does Luka Doncic do? He goes up for a layup, and DiVincenzo kind of goes for the strip and sells out on defense. Luka has a wide open layup. He misses it, and instead of the Lakers trying to, because they weren't going to win this rebounding battle anyway right here. I mean, look at this. This is... Hachimura should have positioning over Randall, but Gobert is right here. Nobody's boxed him out. And Gabe Vincent and LeBron, at this point, the layup is still going in. They have time to react here. They're both just standing there. Hachimura is the only one who's trying to do anything about this miss. And Austin Reeves back here, he has to be the safety valve. But at this point, Luka is just, he misses an open layup, and he's yelling as he misses it, complaining to the refs, and instead, Gobert secures the rebound. At this point, James and Vincent, this is already too late. Because guess what? Gobert is looking for an outlet pass at this point. Luka is complaining to the ref. There's no urgency on the 3-point line. They're both just standing there. And, and LeBron realizes what's happening, and he has to sprint. But at this point, it's too late. And then you have transition defense. You have a 2-on-1 here. It's only Austin Reeves against potentially one of the best finishers in the league, Anthony Edwards. And even if he doesn't go up for the shot, he can just dump it off to DiVincenzo for an early 2. And that's the game. Anyway, sorry, done going into the Lakers. More interestingly enough, you've probably seen some of this, but there's a couple things that happened in Game 4 of the Nuggets-Clippers. I'll let it play.
Brown will defend. Screen Zubac. Foul right there with Denver having a foul to give. Oh, we got pushing. Oh, we got a shove. And it's right in front of us.
I'll just go over this briefly. You can see the guy who's holding Aaron Gordon. So this is Ivica Zubac on the Clippers, who, by the way, played one heck of a series. As you can kind of see here, so there is a foul. This is towards halftime. There's a foul. The Nuggets, Christian Brown committed a foul on James Harden, and James Harden really didn't like this foul. So he kind of got all up in his face. They're battling. Jokic comes over. Zubac actually is like the mediator here because he's trying to push everybody away. And right here, Gordon pushes Harden initially, and then Harden kind of does like this like open-handed, like almost karate chop at Gordon's shoulder, which you can see really didn't do much. And Gordon did not like that because Gordon comes around here and he wants to fight Harden at this point. And who brings him off of Harden? Ivica Zubac, the mediator. And I want to thank him for this sincerely because of what happened at the end of the game here. I'll just let this play out because Jokic has an unbelievably clutch play.
Oh my goodness! It's the first clip. You gotta come over more if you're Murray. Jokic, twisting, turning for the lead. Oh, got it!
Twisting, turning for the lead. Anyway, go down here, and Harden Harden made a very clutch basket as well.
For the tie.
I was wrong. Harden did not make that. Zubac tipped it in after Harden missed.
For the tie.
Unbelievable tip-in by Zubac. Unbelievable job. And then the last play of the game, I'll just let it play out.
Zubac is on him. This is for the win.
Oh, it's close. They're going to call
it.
it.
The buzzer. Did Gordon beat the buzzer?
They're going to take a look at it. But the official, Sean Wright, signaled it was good. This happened so fast. Oh,
That's crazy. Aaron Gordon, so Jokic shoots up an air ball, but it's not entirely his fault because this was a double teamed fadeaway three to win the game. Air balls it, and Gordon catches it and dunks it just in time. They had quite a few replays for this, but it is as close as it can possibly get. I'm going to put the playback here on 0.25 because this is so close. You can see it's starting to light up right there, and his finger just got off of it. It literally went down to 1/100th of a second, 0.01. Yeah, so Gordon hit that buzzer beat. It's the first buzzer beater dunk in NBA playoff history. It's insane. So that was game 4. And then game 7, you probably heard about it at this point. This was a old school beat down. And I just wanted to show this play because it was awesome.
And Tyronn Lue is now looking to the bench to make some other changes. Westbrook. Another jam. To do with.
So they didn't show it here, but Westbrook hanging on the rim like that was so awesome because you get a technical foul for hanging on the rim. And as soon as he got down from here, he gave himself a technical and then started pumping up the crowd, saying something along the lines of send them home, get the heck out of here. You're done for the season. So just amazing stuff from the Nuggets. I'm so happy they won this series against the Clippers. I picked them to win in 7, but I was very nervous about it. You look at the Clippers roster compared to ours, and we should not have won this series. I believe that they're the more talented team, but we just had a couple difference makers in the end. Westbrook was huge in game 1 as well. Gordon was enormous. Jamal Murray also had a 43-point game in game 5 that I didn't even talk about. The usual from Jokic. Although I will say I think the Clippers and specifically Zubats defended Jokic very, very well in this series. And he was not as effective as he usually is. But luckily the other guys stepped up. So, yeah, that's it. Like usual, this goes on way longer than I intended it to, but thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm putting this out, and hopefully I can upload a couple more times in the playoffs, but definitely nothing super, super regular as of right now. I really appreciate you watching. Enjoy the NBA playoffs, and let's go Nuggets.